Welcome to Pinnacle Performance Company's Fishbowl Friday with Pinnacle co-founder and COO G. Riley Mills and master instructor and editorial director Brad Lawrence. In an exclusive edition of Fishbowl Friday featuring G. Riley Mills' new book, Synergy and Sparks.
But you said it, I think it ties into the sixth pillar, connection. Really, those two go hand in hand. Especially in the 21st century, post-pandemic, in your words, what is connection? Like, what defines it now? What does it mean in practice? Let's start there.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Yeah. So what I talk about in this chapter is there is a global recession with connection. People do not feel connected to their work. They don't feel engaged. Gallup does the study every year, and I wait for this thing. They study global engagement levels around the world. I think it's 160 countries, every industry. How engaged are people? How connected are people to their bosses, engaged with their work? This year, it just came out. It dropped 2 percentage points from last year, from 23 to 21%. So 21% of global employees are engaged. That is horrible. That means 79% of people not connected, not engaged with the work that they're doing. And when you dig into those numbers, what Gallup found was they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know if I'm achieving what my boss wants me to achieve. It's mistrust. They don't trust their boss. Another statistic that I lay out in the book, this study blew my mind. 58% of people said they trust a perfect stranger more than they trust their boss, which is a complete lack of connection for you as a leader if your people don't trust you. So there's this global recession of connection. There's a loneliness epidemic. I talk in the book about how Japan now has like a pool of actors you can hire to play your friend, to go to an event with you, to go out to dinner with you, to just pose as your friend, to go to a wedding with you as your friend, because there's this loneliness epidemic. They're not making friends. And so how much of that is because relationships are mostly here now, we're swiping and we're not meeting people, but there's a real problem with connection. And if, again, going back to the title of the book, the synergy part, the synergy between people, between team members, there has to be that connection. If there's not that authentic connection, it's really hard to motivate and inspire people.
You talked earlier about our foundations in the theater and our collaborative backgrounds. I think that's interesting because you cannot work in the environments that we grew up in without collaborating well.
And trust.
You won't get work. They'll kick you out of the program. They'll fire you from your performance, whatever it is. But none of that was ever done outside. None of that was ever done on the virtual platforms.
Right.
Like you were always in the same environment with people day in, day out in the same space. Is there, we're getting into conjecture here, but is there any hope for improving workplace connection if so much of what we do is siloed because of the virtual world that we all inhabit now?
Yeah, I think we have to be careful that technology doesn't take over and just completely eliminate the human connection of it. The human connection is always going to be essential. It's always going to be important. And so we've got to be careful. The co-founder of Reddit, in the book, I quote, they said that they were talking about this problem and them being a technology platform. Their feeling was, in the future, with all this AI happening, in the future, things like live sports and live theater and stand-up comedy, they feel like that's going to have a renaissance because people are going to be tired of looking at screens all day. And I just want to go see a live person sweating and spitting and fighting right in front of me. So I hope that's true. I hope there is a renaissance we get back to the connections of human beings in a room together, actually talking.
Well, because I feel like the challenge is, like you said earlier, we've proven that we can be as, if not more productive, working virtually.
Yeah.
Why would organizations sacrifice that productivity for the virtue of connection when it doesn't seem like it's needed? There's obviously morale and personnel impacts to the lack of connection, but organizationally, we're more productive and profitable than ever.
Really good point, and big mistake that companies make. Because what happens if those employees do not feel appreciated, valued, developed, connected, empowered, respected, they're gone. And so you're going to lose top talent if they don't feel a connection to the purpose of the organization or they don't feel appreciated. So I think you're going to lose good people, and it's going to cost you money to go out. Now I got to headhunt and find a new leader of this thing because I lost this person because they went to another company. So I think companies got to be careful that they can't cut corners too much with getting everything done through technology, because that human element is always going to be there.
It's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out, because
Yeah.
I imagine organizations aren't going to want to fall behind where their competitors are.
Yeah.
And that might put them at risk for falling behind in this area, but they'll actually keep
Yeah.
the people that's
Yeah.
that's going to be challenging.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a balance, right? I don't think we're ever going back to all companies are all in the office.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going back to all companies are all in the office 9 to 5. You punch in at 9, you punch out at 5. I think those days are gone. Younger workers especially, because they've grown up with flexibility. I can do
Yeah.
my work from I'm going on vacation with my parents. I'm going to work 2 days there on my computer. I'll get all my work done, but I'm in a different location. I think that's here to stay. And so we've got to just adjust to make sure it works productively.
Fascinating. Well, this has been an interesting conversation.
Very good questions.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I tried. Well, obviously, we're going to talk more offline about this. But if you are interested in more of what we've got to say, obviously, check out Fishbowl Fridays. We'll talk about these topics as well as many more. We'll have the full interview available through a link. But Gary, thanks so much for talking about Synergy and Sparks.
Thanks for asking great questions.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's Fishbowl Friday for this week and other weeks. We'll see you in the next one.